When I found you in the wreckage of that ship, I considered leaving you. I was afraid you could bring trouble to us.
Thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure to have you here in Mexico City.
Well, it's my honor to be here.
We have few minutes, but let's make it the more.
All right.
I think the tagline from the movie, there are no superheroes, only rebels.
Right.
It's a perfect way to describe your career as a filmmaker nowadays.
Okay.
Because the superhero era may has been left behind, but I think it's time for something bigger, such as Rebel Moon.
Sure.
So how exciting is this new professional era for you, where you got the chance to build a whole new universe from scratch?
It is fun, and it's fun, I think, also because, you know, it's happened really organically for me. Like, we never really thought about, like, what are we going to do next, and what's coming, what's happening. I've always been a huge sci-fi fanatic. You know, I just love it, and I just felt really natural to get into this world. And you know, for me, it's interesting to look at it sort of in the greater scheme of sort of cinema in general, in the idea that, yeah, I don't know what's happening with superhero movies. It's hard to tell what's happening with like different IP. So we were like, let's just create something from scratch that's just, but really do it as best we can, like whole world it.
And you did. I mean, I'm a huge fan of sci-fi genre too, and I think it's like a perfect way to talk about or discuss human existential conflicts, such as fear or hopelessness. But would you say that the human existential conflict in this movie is grief? I mean, every character lost something meaningful.
It's definitely, I think, definitely the message underneath is that we're all broken, but we all have a road to fix ourselves, or for redemption. You know, because it's a really redemptive story in a lot of ways, and I just love that every character is on this path, as we all are in some ways. And I think that they all find this moment of where they can make a decision, but that we're all capable of just doing the right thing, doing the thing that we know to be the thing that's gonna, it's not only healing, but it's also, you know, healing for the world in general.
What do you think they want?
You mentioned earlier that you wrote the script while you were drawing it. So during the creative process, or maybe you draw it first? And
I write first and then I draw. And but I will say, when I draw, I do change the script quite a bit.
Okay.
Because what happens is, when you're drawing, like you write something flowery in the script, you know, some sort of passage about, okay, we established a shot of the planet and it's blah, blah, blah. And then when you go to draw, you're like, it's kind of hard to do that way. And I draw it a certain way and it makes sense now in the shooting. Then I'll go back and rewrite a little bit to make it make sense with the drawings.
And during this creative process, do you have like some inspiration from other filmmakers, or maybe books, artists, paintings?
It's funny, I think when I'm in the midst of writing, I don't. I mean, I think that's all just in us from our just being alive in the world. And yeah, when I sit down, I just like, you know, just see what comes out, you know.
And at this point of your career, what would you say is harder, like build an epic scale universe or build characters with epic existential conflicts?
That's interesting. I mean, gosh, probably like, you know, for me now, the characters and the world building have kind of turned into like the same thing, especially in this movie, where the universe is a metaphor for a lot of just what's happening with them internally. So it's really an opportunity for me to like say, okay, this is the grander scale world that we're in. Here's the characters that are in conflict with each other. How do their literal like emotional interaction, like what's happening inside, how do we manifest it also in the landscape, in the sky, in the planets, you know? So it's really a combo. And so all challenging and difficult, but super rewarding at the same time.
We're searching for soldiers for a fight against the Mother World.
I could help you. For a small fee, obviously. You might want to hold on.
When I was watching the film, I couldn't help but think that I would love to be in this universe, in these planets. Is that an intention for you when you wrote it?
Probably, I would say that for me, probably you would get that feeling because I just love doing it, you know? And so there is a lot of love that I have for all of the environments and all of the sort of design. So hopefully that comes across and draws you in.
And well, just to wrap up, what this Rebel Moon means for you as a sci-fi fan?
I guess for me as a sci-fi fan, it's that what I try to have it be is that beautiful intersection of fantasy and sci-fi, you know, that for me is like the sweet spot for what Rebel Moon's trying to be. You know, there's a little bit of magic, a little bit of like, there's technology, but we're not really a slave to the technology itself. This technology really acts as a mover to like get you from planet to planet, from exotic location to exotic location. But it's not so abstract that it doesn't remind you of the world you live in.
Yeah, it's not hard sci-fi. I watch it as
Oh yes, definitely not hard.
fantasy sci-fi.
100%.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Awesome, thank you.
Nice
It's
to
great
meet
see
you. Bye.
Bye.
Gracias.
It's a new age for the universe.